Nothing, and I mean nothing, changed my life more than when I actually decided to go and get in the best shape of my life. And the reason why I'm making this video is because if you clicked on this, chances are like you're probably in a spot right now where you're not extremely proud with where you're at with your physique, with your training, but you understand that you can do more. You understand that like there's so much room for improvement and you're willing to make that change. And I genuinely think that anybody with the right action, with the right mindset, and if they do the right things, can make a change. But I've also noticed like a lot of guys fail, and a lot of guys, like I think 95% of people who actually try to go and get in shape end up failing and actually don't end up doing it. So my whole goal with this video is to teach you everything I know, my own personal story, and the things that I've done that actually allowed me to go and get in the best shape of my life so that you can go ahead and actually make a similar transformation. So first off, all right, let's start with my story. So back when I was in college, like you can see in this top right picture right here, I was just like a total degenerate. I was going out and I was drinking all the time. I was very undisciplined, not really being my best self. And that lack of discipline and not really, working hard on myself really started to, hurt my progress. Like you see this bottom picture, I was like super bloated, like just looked super unhealthy overall, and just my habits are really just starting to really get to me. And not that like partying and having fun and doing like all that stuff is like necessarily very bad. Like it's good to enjoy yourself every now and then, but my problem was that I was doing all the partying and all the fun and all the fun stuff without actually putting in any of the hard work at all. So I was enjoying myself, I was playing hard, but I wasn't necessarily working hard. So yeah, that was like the first few years of my college experience. And then one day there was this one moment that actually made me realize that like, holy shit, like I have to completely, change my life. And that was my fuck this event, my FTE. And so I was with this one girl, where a lot of people start and things go bad. I was dating this one girl, and at the start of the relationship, like I was actually in decent shape. I was playing football, so I wasn't in bad shape. But as the relationship went on, like I got complacent, started not really hitting the gym as much, being a lot more complacent on my goals, and just not taking things very seriously. And then I ended up getting to a point where, it was literally the day after Christmas, and I took this picture right here in the bottom right corner, the physique one, and I was just like, holy shit, I do not really look the way, that I want to look right now. And I was hit with that realization of like, holy shit, I'm not being the person that I need to be. And then just like a few days after I took this picture, I ended up actually, going through a breakup, like a few days after Christmas, which was, pretty brutal, but I mean, it is what it is. But what I realized in this moment is that like I had to make a change. I looked at this picture and was like, I am not the man that I know that I need to be. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because you're probably in a similar spot right now. Like you may be in a spot right now where you're not really proud of the person that you are. You look at your habits, you look at your physique, and like you know that you're not doing very well, but at the same time, like you know that you can do better. Um, so then I spent the next 6 months going, really hard on my goals. I was going to the gym every single day. I was eating clean, and I actually finally started locking in my habits, started doing the things that we're going to talk about in this video. And I ended up building, a physique that I was very proud of. Like these two pictures right here are like, you may think these are a couple years apart. These are only 6 months apart right here, like about a little over 6 months, about 6.5 months apart. Like I made an insane shift in my physique and everything just because I actually started doing the things that I knew I had to do. And so yeah, this was my first 6 months, and 3 years later, where I'm at now, like I'm still on the journey, and I'm feeling better than ever. And the reason why I'm talking about this is just like you may be watching this saying, oh yeah, but you're just disciplined, like you just have good genetics, like you just have this, you just have that. But the truth is like nothing about me was special. Like you may see where I'm at now with my physique and think that I just have always had it great, but like look at me in this first picture right here. Like that clearly wasn't true. I was in a really bad spot too, and there was nothing special about me, but the one thing that I had was like I decided to actually take action, and I decided to actually go and make the change. Um, so now you might be saying, okay, like, well, what did this actually get you? Well, a lot of things, number one, like, building a good physique, like it's going to make you, more attractive to women, which like, hey, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, I don't care about girls, just do things for yourself. But I say, fuck that. Like, I want to, like, I'll say it straight up. Like, I want to, look better for dating. I want to have better dating success. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. Some people might say, "Oh yeah, I don't care about women," but it's like, whatever. Okay, I want to look better. I want to be more attractive. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. And also, it just gets you more respect because you walk into a room and like people can see that you take care of yourself. They can see that you take yourself seriously. And that's important. Like when you look at somebody who's in good shape, you probably have admiration for them because you know how hard it is. You know, like how much hard work goes into it. And, if you want to feel that from other people, getting in shape is going to help you with that. But more importantly, like I was just proud of myself. It's great to talk about like, oh yeah, more attractive to women and getting respect from other people, but what was more important was like the way that I saw myself. Like you see this bottom picture right here. I'm like, Tarzan in the jungle, like, flexing all up and, really living a confident life because I genuinely feel really good about myself. And I think at the end of the day, like, validation from other people and all that, it's great. But at the end of the day, like nothing matters more than loving yourself and respecting yourself. And some people will say, oh yeah, just love yourself no matter what. Like, oh yeah, but at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself. You're either taking care of your goals or you're not taking care of your goals. And if you're not taking care of your goals, that's going to eat at you. But if you're taking care of your goals and you're putting in the work and you're developing, like you're going to feel such a level of self-respect for yourself and your fitness journey, your physique is, a great way to really start with that. So how I did it, right? How I achieved this. There are three steps, and we're going to dive a bit more into this in the video. But number one is setting the standard, like setting a standard of excellence for yourself. Number two is building a sustainable system. And number three, creating the training blueprint. So, step number one, okay, setting the standard. All right. I know this is going to sound so corny, and some people might want to skip this section, but that's exactly why you are stuck. I'm telling you right now, exactly why you are stuck, because everything starts in the mind. You have to genuinely believe that you can make a change for yourself. You have to genuinely believe that if I put in the work, I can get to where I want to be. And you may be in a spot where you're stuck right now. But guess what? Like, you don't have to stay there. I think what holds so many of us back is we're told all the time in school growing up, oh yeah, you're just dumb, you're just not smart, like you're just a failure. Oh, you got a bad grade on this test, you get an F, you suck. But the thing is, like, life's not actually that way, right? Like just because you fail once doesn't mean that you are a failure. Like just because you screw up once doesn't mean that you are a screw up. It just means like, yeah, you're stuck right now, but you can make a change for yourself. Like you like genuinely you can make anything that you want to out of your life. Like it's all about the work that you want to put in, right? If you want to put in the work, if you want to make the change, you can do it, but you have to genuinely believe that you can. So if that makes sense. And also when it comes to setting the standard, right? Fitness has to become a non-negotiable, okay? And what do I mean by that? Well, so many guys who I see get stuck with their fitness journey who don't make progress. What do? They say, "Oh, I'll get started next week." "Oh, I don't have time to go to the gym. I'm too busy with work." "Oh, I got a date with my girlfriend, that's more important. I can't, I'll have to skip a workout." Bullshit, okay? If you want to actually get in shape, like this has to become a non-negotiable on your calendar. Like you have to find times where I'm gonna hit the gym, and I don't give a fuck if North Korea is sending missiles at America, if nuclear war is starting, if your fucking girlfriend's mad at you. I don't care what happens. All right, you are gonna be in the gym. Okay, it's a non-negotiable. All right, that is the mindset that you have to have with your workouts if you actually want to, see long-term success. Because if you're always making excuses and you're saying, "Oh, I can't get in today because I didn't sleep very well. Oh, I'm sore. Oh, I feel tired." Bullshit. All right, man up, get in there, and don't make fucking excuses. Because at the end of the day, right, even if you're not 100%, even if you're not giving like, even if you're a little bit tired, even if you didn't sleep very well, even if you're a little sore, doing something is always still going to be better than doing nothing. Which leads me into step number two, okay? Building a sustainable system. All right. Most guys think they need to spend hours in the gym every single day, right? They need to spend 2 to 3 hours training 7 days a week to see progress. Most guys think they have to eat chicken and rice all the time and, have a, super boring diet. They can't ever go and enjoy themselves. They can't ever, go and have some fun. And most guys think they have to hate their lives to get in shape. But all three of these things could not be further from the truth, right? My whole philosophy on fitness is I love going to the gym. I love being healthy, but I like enjoying life as well. I like having fun. I like going out and living my life. I like going out and getting a drink every now and then. I like going and eating an enjoyable meal every now and then. And you probably do too. You probably don't want to give up those things. But the thing is, like, you don't have to give up those things to see progress. Like, you don't have to give up the foods you like to see progress. You don't have to hate yourself and live a shitty life and eat chicken and rice every day and spend 4 hours in the gym every day to see progress. You don't have to do those things. What you have to do is you have to build a system that is sustainable, repeatable, and also enjoyable, right? Which is what we're going to go a little more deep in this next slide. So, what does a sustainable system look like? Well, what I mean by that is it's something that you can genuinely stick to every single week, all right? And I guarantee you, if you make these four changes right here, like if you take nothing else from this video, take this right here. If you make these four changes right here, you will be a completely new person 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. Like you will completely change your life. And that is step number one. Okay. Train 3 to 5 times per week. Okay. Three is the bare minimum. Five is the maximum. Maybe six. If you really want to go hard, you can go six, but I'd say 3 to 5 is where you want to get. Okay. And obviously, if you train 5 days a week, you'll probably make faster progress than if you train 3 times a week. So, like, the more you can go, the better. But if you're hitting 3 workouts a week, right? 3 full body workouts, like you can make an insane amount of progress. You don't have to go 7 days a week. If you're going 5 days a week, you'll make more progress than if you go three. But at the end of the day, rest is also important too. So that's why that like 3 to 5 times per week um, ratio is perfect because you get a perfect balance of getting in the gym enough, but also recovery as well. Then on top of that, okay, number two, 10K steps per day. All right. It's basically an essential. All right. If you want to be healthy, if you want to burn fat, if you want to have good cardio health, right, you got to get your 10K steps per day. All right. It's good not just for like your physical health, but for your mental health too, man. Just like so many of us just spend all fucking day inside on our phones, on our screens, and just like not really, being mobile, just living a sedentary life. Like this is especially important if you're working a 9 to 5 job where like you're just sat down all day, right? Find a way to get your 10K steps in, right? Maybe, on your lunch break at work, right? Go take a walk or, first thing in the morning, go get a little walk in or in the afternoon at nighttime, go get a little walk in. But whatever you got to do, you got to hit those 10K steps per day, okay? It'll completely change your life, not just your physical health, but your mental health too, all right? And number three is what I call the 80/20 rule of diet. Okay. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, a lot of guys think that, like we talked about earlier, if I want to get in shape, I got to eat fucking and chicken and rice every single day and be super disciplined. But that's just not true. Okay. Now, with that being said, do you have to be disciplined most of the time? Of course. Like, if you're just eating bullshit every single day, pizza, burgers, like fucking Cheerios, like, of course, you're not going to see that much progress if you're not taking your diet seriously. But you want to enjoy yourself too. So, my philosophy is 80% of the time on a day-to-day basis, like when I'm going about my day-to-day life, just, regular shit, I'm eating healthy. I'm eating clean, I'm eating the right foods. Then the other 20% of the time, like, let's say, I'm going out to dinner with my family, or I'm taking a girl out on a date, or I'm going out for a snack. Like I'll allow myself to enjoy my diet 20% of the time. And I think that balance of like being disciplined 80% of the time and then enjoying yourself 20% of the time is a thing that you can perfectly stick to, okay, for the rest of your life. Because you want to be disciplined. Like you want to enjoy yourself, but you also don't want to be that one fucking guy who goes out on a date with a cute girl and she goes, "Oh, yeah, you want to get some ice cream?" And you go, "Oh, no, well, actually, I'm on a diet. Like, I can't do that. I'm disciplined." It's like, shut up, bro. Like, it's okay to enjoy yourself every now and then. All right. So that's what my philosophy on diet is and what I believe, works best for most guys that I work with. And number four, okay, is 8 hours of sleep. All right. And there's a lot of reasons for this. Okay, number one, your mental clarity, like you're just gonna feel better. Number two, like your testosterone is super important. If you're not getting your sleep, your testosterone is just gonna tank. You're gonna feel like shit. You're not gonna make progress. Like 8 hours of sleep, bro. One of my football coaches used to always actually say when I was in college, if I can make one change to completely change your life, like one thing that'll completely change your life, it sounds stupid, but get 8 hours of sleep. You'll be better mentally, you'll be better physically, and just everything in your life will change once you lock in that one thing. All right. So when your mom said get your fucking sleep, she was right. She was 100% right. All right. Now, step number three. All right, the training blueprint. This is, everything you have to understand about training if you want to see progress. All right. Number one, we already talked about this, so I'm not going to go too in depth, but 3 to 5 times per week. Okay. Hit the gym 3 to 5 times a week. Number two, have a consistent routine. Okay. The reason why I talk about this is because some guys will just show up to the gym when they feel like it. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym today. But tomorrow, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like it. Or they're going to the gym consistently, but they don't actually have a plan, right? They'll just show up and just like do random workouts, train random things. But a quote that I've always loved, right, is not having a plan is a plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, you are planning to fail, essentially, right? Like, so if you want to succeed, if you want to hit your goals, like, you have to have a routine that you're actually following, right? And in terms of like the perfect routine for you, it varies from guy to guy, right? If you're going 3 times a week, it's going to be different from a guy who's going 5 times per week. So, in terms of the perfect routine, like I can't tell you that right now, but maybe take some of the principles we talked about and do some research on it and figure out what routine you can actually stick to, and also like that you're gonna have fun with. A lot of guys when they talk about the gym, like talk about science-based lifting, optimization, but also like just fucking enjoying it is important too. Like find a routine that you actually enjoy, that you actually want to stick to, right, and that you're actually gonna have fun with doing. Um, and number three is progressive overload. Okay. What this means is like training harder and doing more weight every time you're in the gym. Okay. Because I see some guys who, like, at my gym who, no disrespect, like they're still showing up and they're training and that's great, but they're not training that hard. They just show up, lift the same weights every day, do the same amount of reps. And it's like, well, I wonder why you're not seeing progress. Maybe it's because you're not pushing yourself that hard. But if you want to actually see good progress, like, you have to be willing to push yourself. You have to go that extra mile. Like every workout, you should be either doing more reps or be doing more weight than you did the time before. And you have to track that shit. Like if you're not tracking it, if you're not writing it down, you're not doing more weight, you're just guessing, right? And you're planning to fail, like we talked about earlier. And number four, you got to have an aesthetic workout split, which will go a little more in depth on this, but most workout routines are just complete bullshit, right? Like most workout routines you get from like your fucking uncle or your grandpa is like, designed for powerlifting or like for, general strength. But if you want to build that aesthetic V taper, like good looking physique, like Brad Pitt from Fight Club, American Psycho, Spider-Man, like whatever, you got to have the right workout split, which we'll talk about here in a second. So, the aesthetic workout split, okay? I took a couple of pictures here of like guys who have, famous physiques like Brad Pitt from Fight Club or, Tom Holland from Spider-Man, the recent Spider-Man movie. Like that physique is, going viral. But the principle is like you don't have to be on fucking steroids, roided out bodybuilder to have a good physique. Like both of these physiques are good looking, but they're also like very naturally attainable. Like you can achieve this physique like in a couple years of hard work. You don't have to fucking blast gear and peptides and all this bullshit to look good. You genuinely don't. But you got to understand, right, what makes these splits good or what makes these physiques good, okay? The right workout split prioritizes these six muscles, okay? Upper chest, biceps, abs, your lateral delts, which are like the side parts of your shoulders, your lats, which are like the side part of your back, and your neck, right? Essentially, what all of these muscles are training for is that like wide, shoulder to hip ratio where your shoulders are wider than your waist, which is essentially what you're going for when you have that aesthetic workout routine. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on the workout routine on here because you don't want to just hear me fucking list off, 3 by 3 lateral raise. Like, so what I'll do to you, right? My free gift is if you stayed with this video for this long and you've watched all the way here, DM me on Instagram at it's Frank Cooper. My link is right down there. Not the link. The username is right there. You can feel free to DM me on Instagram. DM me the word routine, and I will send you my personal workout routine for completely free. Okay, that's my gift to you if you've watched this far in the video. That way you can just like get started on your journey. Um, Now we've talked about what you need to do to succeed, what you need to do to actually start seeing results. But the reality is, 95% of people who try to get in shape, who try to get started on their journey actually fail, which that might sound shocking, but like if you don't believe me, I'm not gonna fucking someone's gonna say, "Oh yeah, cite the study, cite the sources." Shut up, bro. Like you can research it if you don't believe me, but that's what the studies say, right? 95% of people fail. And there's a few reasons why. Okay, number one, they have no structure. Like we said, they just show up when they feel like it. They eat what they want. They don't, have any sort of discipline. They just do what they feel like doing and then wonder, oh, I wonder why I didn't see results. It's like, well, it's because you didn't fucking have a game plan, bro. And number two, or number three, they also don't have anybody to hold them accountable. For me personally, what genuinely helped me out so much in my fitness journey was that when I started training, I actually started from when I was playing high school football. And every single day, I would have teammates who I would go and train with. And if I didn't show up to the workouts, if I did not show up that day, I would get called out for it. I would get made an example of. And I genuinely think having other people to go with and having other people along with you on your journey is one of the best things that you can do. Now, if you're in a spot right now where you don't really have any friends who are going to the gym or you don't have anybody to hold you accountable, you got to hold yourself accountable. And you can still make it happen, but I genuinely think that having somebody in your corner or just having some friends that you can go with, someone that you're training with, or somebody who you can work with that'll hold you accountable can just be such a huge difference maker. Like, seriously, it was one of the things that helped me out so much. So, with that being said, all right, from here, you have two different paths that you can take. All right. Option number one, you can do it yourself. And 100% it can be done. Like you can, do the work yourself. You can go through the trials and tribulations. You can get started on your journey and you can see good results. But there are risks with that, right? Risk number one, you're seeing much slower progress because, like we said, you're gonna make mistakes. There's gonna be days where you skip. There's gonna be days where you fuck up. There's gonna be things that you don't that take you a while to learn. Because there's so many lessons in my fitness journey that like I've had to learn the hard way and things that have slowed my progress, but I could have made so much faster progress if I just had somebody helping me out. And also, not just are you risking slower progress, but like we talked about earlier, you're risking giving up because you don't have somebody in your corner to hold you accountable to help you get there. Which leads me into number two. Hey, option number two, the fast track. Which leads me into imagine if you had somebody in your corner helping you along every single step of the way, right? You would see faster progress, you would be held accountable, and you would also instantly understand what it takes to overcome years of trial and error. And you might say, oh, but I don't really, I don't need a coach. And true, you don't need one. But I mean, look at like we have on this picture right here. Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson. Michael Jordan had a basketball coach. Tom Brady had Bill Belichick. Tom Brady had a football coach. So, if the best in the world are getting coaching for what they want to do, then clearly getting coaching, clearly getting help is like not a bad thing to do. And even me personally, like I've had multiple coaches in my life. I've had football coaches, I've had baseball coaches, and I even hired fitness coaches for me personally to help me with my football goals back when I was in college. And it helped me make progress a lot faster. So before we close out this video, all right, my final piece of advice to you, the thing I've noticed that separates guys who make it from guys who don't, is simply just taking action, like simply just getting started, right? You might be saying, oh, I'll start next week. Oh, I'll start soon. Fuck that, all right? Get started on your fitness journey ASAP. Like, wake up tomorrow morning, go hit a workout. Like, and you don't have to do anything crazy, but just get started on your journey. Just get over that first hump. Because once you get started, once you take that first step, everything after is so much easier. So yeah, just get started on your journey. And if you're in a spot right now, okay, where you've thought about looking into coaching, you've thought about, working with somebody, just go ahead and book a free call with me in the description down below, okay? We'll build a custom game plan for you. We'll figure out exactly what you have to do to get to where you want to go, figure out what's holding you back, and get you started on your journey to achieving your dream physique, to, achieving your goals. And with that being said, too, bro, like, no pressure whatsoever. Like, my whole idea is like, I just want to be able to help you out. So, just if you're in doubt, if you're thinking about it at all, bro, just book the call. We'll have a chat, see if it's a good fit for you, build out your game plan. Even if you don't want to get coaching, like you'll still have, free resources to get started on your journey, to start seeing results. And if you think it's a good fit and you want to get coaching, we can talk about it and see if it works. But No pressure whatsoever, just to see if I can help, to see if we can get you started on your goals. And yeah, so if you found this video helped you out, I'll see you for the next video and go ahead and book that call. So yeah, I'll see you for the next video, bro.